R.J. Thomas here with the Secrets in the Church, and we have some news to give out tonight. Certainly, it is some disconcerting news. I don't like it when the churches suffer from this type of asinine behavior. I don't like it, but however, somebody needs to cry out. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, which would give us, and I need to tell you that all copyrights belong to the EEFI television network, television station. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, the 56th chapter and the 9th verse. And it says, all ye beasts of the field, come to devour ye, all ye beasts of the forest. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. Notice the word, they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way. Everyone has his own gain for his quarter. Now listen, people. These are the kind of shepherds we are dealing with. They're greedy dogs that won't bark. They won't tell on one another. They won't expose what the person is doing, knowing that it is wrong. They won't say nothing. We be quiet. We be still and we don't say nothing. But I'm not the one not to say something because your soul is caught up. Your soul is in the middle of this, and it is wrong for the shepherds that do this. And it's time that we cry out to this one. I got some disturbing news, and I'm gonna play the clip here in just a moment, and we're gonna dig in to this situation. It is horrible. It is horrible that we sit around as leaders that say we believe God and love God fullness, but we cover up our brother's behavior, our sister's behavior in the church. Y'all know I call them church criminals. Everybody that's saying, Lord, Lord, don't mean they gonna make it into the glory. They going to heaven because the Bible said heaven and earth shall pass away and my words shall forever stand. And then there was a thief that hung on the side of the cross say, where shall you be, Jesus? And Jesus replied unto the man, he said, in paradise, where I be as you shall be. Yeah, you got a whole lot of them going to heaven. So be careful those who say they going to heaven because that's where they really going. They going to pass away. This disturbing news about this Bishop Robert Earl Carter has really gotten me. Now I'm going to play the clip and then we're going to dig into it. This clip here, we're going to dig into it. Let me get it up on the screen here and I'm going to play it here so you can see it for yourself. Yeah, watch this clip.
All right, and that's a story that we've been following for over a year now. A local pastor was charged with sexually assaulting an underage family member whom he allegedly impregnated when the victim was just 14 years old. That pastor is due back in court tomorrow for a pre-trial hearing. We first brought you the story last year after the allegations surfaced. Tonight, another one of the alleged victim's relatives who spoke out against the pastor then is speaking to us again. KPRC2's Devin Clark is live downtown Houston with his message ahead of tomorrow's hearing.
Well, he's been back and forth to court over the last year.
In October last year, we told you about Pastor Robert L. Carter, who was charged with continued sexual abuse of a child and sexual assault of a child aged 14 to 17. Carter accused of doing this to a young family member.
How could you show your face in a church where you profess to keep the word or speak the word of God.
This family member, who we are not identifying as to protect the alleged victim's identity, says Carter abused the girl some 600 times, starting when she was just 7 years old, then got her pregnant when she was 14. He says the girl gave birth in a closet. Then Carter took their baby and dropped him off at a fire station.
I mean, it's horrific for one, but it's just been waiting on the judicial system to, step in and do what they can do.
This family member says Carter must plead guilty by tomorrow or go to trial, while the Harris County District Attorney's Office says they cannot comment on plea deals before they happen. We have confirmed Carter is due back in court tomorrow.
Now, folks, this is amazing. This story here is amazing because this preacher, this bishop, R.L. Carter, on Friday, took the case to court and they gave him 40 years. 40 years. Now, if y'all go back and you pay attention to the prophecy about 4.5, 5 years ago, I came on. And the first time I came on was in 2018, 2019. 2018, I'm sorry. I told y'all that clergyman was getting ready to go to jail. And I needed to tell you now that a whole lot of clergymen has gone to prison. Y'all looking for certain ones, y'all wonder why y'all can't find them. They're in prison. And there's some more y'all they getting ready to pick up. It's finna get worse. Some of y'all gonna get it by letting them cameras in them sanctuaries. But nevertheless, we'll talk about that on the further end of this cast. This Bishop Robert Earl Carter molested a 12-year-old kid. Are y'all hearing me? Molested a 12-year-old kid and had been messing with her since she was 12 years old. They had a baby. If you heard the clip I just played, she had a baby at the age of 14 years old in the closet at an apartment. And he helped her birth the child, took the child away. Are y'all hearing me? And put the child and dropped the child off rather at one of the fire departments. The story goes on to say that he also had been molesting her in the back of the H-E-B grocery store down here in Houston, Texas. He's so ruthless until he was going to different churches' parking lot, parking in the parking lot, and having the child in the back of the car. These are the shepherds that y'all are letting pastoring y'all. These are the shepherds that you are letting over your children. And it has been said that this is a family member. So I'm sure, and I want to be clear, I am sure that there are other victims in that church. I don't want to call out the name of that church and their location, but they are right here in Houston, Texas. They are right here in Houston, Texas. Anybody out there know any more information about that, I encourage you to write me. I encourage you to call me. Write me and call me. I'd like to hear from you. We are letting dumb dogs in the pulpit and in the church that won't bark, won't stand for the truth, won't stand for what is right, won't stand. We talk about it among ourselves, but never get the person dealt with. Why? Because we are greedy dogs. We only care about, well, I ain't gonna say we, I won't say you that know this and don't do nothing about it. You only concerned about your way, what you have to say, what you do, and what you have done. My fault and no more. We're not worrying about the other one. You know, when I looked at Our Father's prayer, the Our Father's prayer uses three words: our, we, and us. That means is that's letting us know we cannot be selfish and only think about us, but rather become helpers to one another. This has disturbed me. This has me in an uproar, psychologically mental. It has me in a very bad fix. That how did this child carry this baby the full term? And by the way, for some of you that want to know where the child has been adopted in a foster care home. How could this child at the age of 12 through 14 not be seen and heard of what's been happening to her? How is it that this child carried this baby and where the parents were that did not and was not around this child to pay attention to this child? This leads to a lot of questions. I don't think they need to stop with the bishop, the pastor. I think they need to go through that whole church. And I think they need to go through that child's parents to find out why they did not do much of anything up to now to say that they are waiting on the judiciary system to take charge. That man should have been set down by his leader, brought up, and that's another thing. And see, that's the thing that I knows about these independent churches. They don't have to answer to a judiciary system. Let me say that again. You don't have to answer to a judiciary system. When I went to school with the Houston Presbyterian College of Bishops and did my interns over in the Vatican, when I did that, I understood the judiciary system can come after me for any wrongdoing that I do. Many of you don't know anything about it, so I'll tell you about it tonight, a little bit about it while we're talking about it. If one of us got caught doing something wrong and it made it to the epistles of the Vatican, they would send the judiciary, which is the police of the church, and they will bring you before the brethren, and they will hold you in jail. A lot of y'all don't know, in the Vatican, they have a jail over there. You need to go. How you a part of something and you don't know what it is? How is it that you don't understand that? You need to go and understand. You're part of the church process. You need to go to due process and learn how to. Some of y'all not even registered with the federal, state, or local. You need to be vetted. You need to be registered because you are a powerful tool in the community. And your behavior will be counted for. If you don't get registered, that tells me a lot about you. That tells me that you're avoiding the process. You are out here just willing and dealing and doing everything that you big and bad enough to do. But when you have a judiciary or you have an office above you that you have to answer to, you would not be doing this type of behavior. And that's what's wrong with a lot of independent churches. It's time for the clergyman to answer, not to the government per se, but to the head church, which is the Roman Catholic Church. And I tell you, if they get their hands on you, I promise you, you don't want to get your hands on. You don't want them to get their hands on you. I'm talking fast. You don't want them to get their hands on you because the church has a punishment far more greater for the clergyman than the government does. Yes, you would much rather be punished by the federal government or the government of the United States rather than to go and answer to the Vatican. That's why you don't see too much going on in the church, especially in the Roman Catholic Church. You see molestation. You don't see them messing with no money. You don't see them doing none of that other stuff too much. You hear about that molestation on them boys, though. And they're getting a handle on it now. They're getting a handle on it now. They're working on it. This little girl is just not sexually active, but she is ruined. She would never probably ever trust the church ever again. Anyone that's in the church. Why? Because clergymen have failed to do their due diligence, failed to cry loud, failing to be quiet during the time that we should be active, more than standing in the pulpit, grabbing your ear and catching a tune and shaking a leg. There's more to it in the community, brothers and sisters. It's more than that. We have a responsibility. We have to see about the people, to protect the sheep, not watch them become slaughtered before they hit the altar. You do know the altar is the church itself is a slaughterhouse. But we got people slaughtering the sheep before they even get to the altar. How? Robbing them, lying to them, raping them, molesting them, doing everything they can do to an individual in that church. But I heard God said, upon this rock, I'm going to build my church. All of you and all of us that have sat there and have not said nothing, have not did nothing, and we see this stuff going on in the church, and we ain't said nothing, we are going to be held accountable and guilty. Y'all better hear me good, clergymen. We are going to be held accountable and guilty for not doing right by these sheep in their church. You know that man was raping that girl and you didn't say nothing. You know he was molesting that boy. You didn't open your mouth to say nothing. You know that man was over there raping them financially and lying to them. You invite this wolf in your church to run a revival, to collect the offering, and you sit in the back and capitalize on it as well. God gonna get you, and he gonna get the wolf too. Don't be a dumb dog that won't bark. It's time, ever was a time, for us to stand up, brethren, sisters, in the church and expose this wolf. These wolves in sheep clothing, expose them. There is a time. I don't mind doing it. Don't invite, I tell them in a minute, don't invite me. I have the gift to preach. I have the gift to raise money. I have a gift to do all of that. And many of you know this. But you are not going to call me to your church to pimp the gift I have. You're not going to bring me to the church to try to control me. You're not going to bring me to the church to try to set me into the position that you want me in for gain's sake, notoriety, and popularity. I don't need to do that, and I'm not going to do it. My grandmother, Mother Linda Mae Washington Mason, Mother Linda Mason, Linda Mae Mason Watson. I'm sorry. She had all them names. She got married. Yes, May is a middle name. Mason is her last name by her father. And then she got married and she became a Washington. So let me help y'all out with that. So she told me, whatever you do, don't you play with God. And I never have, and I never will. I never forget, I got my first church right there in Shreveport, Louisiana. And Bishop Willie D. Fuller, Faith Tabernacle Revival Center. And man, put that church right in my hand. And I gave it right back to the people because I wasn't ready to leave the club alone. I wasn't ready to leave the weed alone. And I sure wasn't ready to leave my women's alone. So I didn't play in the church. There you have it. I'm going to tell you, because ain't nobody tell my story better than me. I love my women. Yeah, I love my women, and I love my the little weed I did smoke. Yeah. And yeah, I love what I had going on. And I used to play the organ for the church. And when I left the church, after they gave me my money for playing the organ, I used to go to the casino, Horseshoe Casino over there in Bossier. Me and a friend of mine, I'm not going to call his name, but if he was sitting here, if he's watching, he'll tell you, yeah, we used to be there at 7 o'clock, and we turn them dice up. And we get through, we go into Oak Creek Village. And we're going to sit down and eat all the catfish, shrimp, and whatever we want to eat. Because they were giving us all type of comps. Because we were good rollers. Shake the dice, roll them. 7 and 11, 5 and 9, stay alive. 6 and 8, rolling running mates. 5 and 9, we're going to stay alive. We roll. We played the hard ways. And when we got through that, we went to the roulette table, let the ball spin around, and then we bid on our numbers, and they paid $35 to $1. So what I'm saying to you tonight, you don't get in the church to play in the church. But God could have killed me. He would have killed me. And he should have killed us if we're playing in the house. And I come to tell some of you tonight, as a warning, you better get out of that church playing in there. They're going to jail left and right. Don't let it be your wake-up call in hell. Don't let it be your wake-up call in hell. I'm telling you, it's wrong. This preacher is crazy enough. Y'all excuse me. He makes a $200,000 bond on this. Are y'all hearing me? He makes a $200,000 bond and go to court with a court-appointed attorney. Yes, you heard me correctly. He makes a $200,000 bond and go to trial with a court-appointed attorney. You know he got to be crazy. And I'm using that wide open, straightforward. You know he got to be crazy. And the reason why I know he got to be crazy, because you should have took the plea deal. You know you were wrong. They got a whole baby against you. And a testified witness who you done it to. And you gonna go to trial? The enemy made you believe that you were gonna win. The enemy made you believe you go to trial, you were gonna get lesser time. The enemy fooled you, man. Now you stuck with over a life sentence. A life sentence is 25 years. You got almost 2 life sentences. 40 years. And they just passed the law. If the crime against the person is heavy wrongdoing, this is the new law, y'all. If you have done something wrong to a person that's extra wrong, assault, they are saying they don't want you to have a bond, but they want you to do 90% of your time before you get out. So in other words, he ain't going to be able to make parole until the minimum of 90% of his time has been completed. Now, it's my understanding the young brother is 40 years old. So somewhere around 80, he'll be getting out of prison. My. And I need to tell you, preachers, all that you doing in here in these streets ain't gonna work in that prison. It's not gonna work in that prison. I'm telling you now, I go down there, I see these prisons, talk to them, I'm around inside of there with them. Let me tell you something. They know their Bible backwards and forward because that's all they got to do is lay around, read the Bible, and watch the news. That's all they do in there. And waiting on time to pass by. Waiting on time to pass by. You go up in there with their game plan, they got something for you when them lights goes out. Trust me. When them lights goes out, there's going to be some hollering going on. You don't go to prison for rape and molesting a woman or raping a child or old folk. You don't go to prison for those 3 things. Them men's going to look at you and say, that could have been my daughter. That could have been my mama. That could have been my great-grandparents you did this to. So I'm going to get you. And as sad as it is to say, the guards would turn their back and let them get you. Are y'all hearing me? They would turn their backs and let them get you. It's disturbing that you claim to know Jesus the Christ and you go and do this to a child. You do this to a baby? How awful. How awful that you would do something like this to a child. At the church. Around the church. The little child testified, she told him to stop. And in the first start, she said, please don't do this to me. And he kept on going. I believe that he was struck by demons. I believe that he also was using some type of drug, whether it be alcohol, cocaine, pill popper, or weed. Somehow he was doing something abnormal. And like the witness said, how could you do this and show your face at the church on Sunday morning and preach like it's nothing? I mean, sit there and preach like it's nothing, like you ain't did nothing. Man, you scared me. Yeah, you scared me. You done got too common with God. And that's what's wrong with the church. The preachers in the church done got too common with God, sitting in the church, molesting and raping and smoking dope and cocaine, and you doing all this mess in the church. And you sitting there, you ain't even scared of God. I'm scared of you. I'm scared. I'm afraid of you, brother, because you have become power-packed and demon-possessed. When you don't feel God in his house, and you are sat there and you are raped, and you are maimed, you are killed, you are steal, you are set up dope traffic. You'll set up prostitution and come into church. You'll set up all kind of matter of things in the church. You will do this and you sit in the church like it's normal. You are just about Satan. You know, Satan lost his name, Lucifer, out of heaven because he wouldn't worship. He got just that bold that he wasn't going to worship. He decided he was going to do, let me see if I can break this down to the average man. How would you feel if another earthly man came in your house and did what he wanted to do in your house? How would you feel? That's just natural. But imagine God. If you went in God's house and doing the things that you were doing in there, whether it be secret, y'all talk to me, whether it be a secret or not a secret, you're going in the house of God raggedy, foul. You have the nerve to go into his house that way and you don't feel no shame. Woo! Every time I walk into God's house, I'm afraid. Even when I stand behind the pulpit to preach the gospel, I am afraid. You know why I'm afraid? Because I know within myself that I ain't worthy to stand in this pulpit. Not that I've been doing anything wrong and heinous. I'm talking about, baby, I just don't want to die walking into his house unworthy. That's why I pray and I repent before I go in. And I mean, I pray, Lord, whatever it is, please forgive me. The unknown and the known things that I've done, please forgive me. Don't kill me. I know you should have killed me when you should have, but you didn't. But let me make it. Don't let me walk into your house and you kill me and become a shame to my children, to my grandchildren, to my family. Don't let me be ashamed to them. Don't let me be that one that die and wrongness. God, help me to walk in right and live right toward you, so I don't have to be a hypocrite. I don't have to walk in hypocrisy when I stand behind the podium. I never seen so many preachers now standing in the pulpit cussing, and I know a lot of this stuff is AI, but some of this stuff is real. Cussing, no remorse, sitting in the pulpit with your legs crossed like you have arrived, like you and God are twins. And who do you think you are? You ain't died for nobody. You ain't you ain't died for nobody. Your blood wasn't shed. Who are you? We need to get back to being humble. We need to get back to being respectful to God's house, that we may lead the people into respect more. I know a lot of you don't like this tonight, and I don't care if you like it. My assignment is to give you what God has to give you. My assignment is to make sure that I get this word out from near and far. And as I explained to the church here in Houston and to the fellowship of Eagle Eye Fellowship, I am beyond the walls of the church now. I am beyond the walls of Eagle Eye Fellowship. I'm looking to be in Spain. I'm looking to be in Turkish. I'm looking to be in Germany. I'm looking to be over in Africa. I'm looking to go over in the British. I want to go into the divest part of this world, bringing the true gospel, not this watered down, pimped down gospel that's being preached into the United States now. This prosperity has ruined the church. It has tore the church up. Everybody looking to be expecting to be a multi-millionaire. So you lie to them and you get their money. As I said to many of the preachers, you know where your meal coming from every time you stand behind that podium. But trade places with one of your members and let them gain the offering that you sat there and raised on Sunday morning. And let's see if you can believe God the same way. And as I come to an understanding to a lot of preachers that I deal with hand in hand, a lot of them are just atheists. They don't really believe in the God that they preach. They don't care about the God what they preach. What they care about is that offering that's coming in their church so they can get their children through their college. They care about that offering that they get so they can keep the food on their table and keep those diamonds on their wives and whores' hand and keep those alligators on their feet and their mighty suits and their ropes and chains that they wear and notoriety. They care about those Cadillacs and Mercedes and Maseratis and Bentleys and Rolls Royce. That's what they care about. They don't care about your soul. They don't care. I met a Baptist preacher over there, and I met him over there in the hood. And I'll call his name. His name is Pastor Max Miller. And he's at Mount Hebron Baptist Church. And I was over there when I first started, and I was interviewing him and this Baptist vicinity. I was interviewing him, and I was told to go there by Pastor Gideon, Helping Hand Ministry over there on Martin Luther King Boulevard over there on the south side. And his church, Mount Hebron, his church is not too far from Pastor Gideon's church. And so I was invited to the Baptist meeting, association. And there I met the president there. And he and I started developing a relationship. And when we develop a relationship, I start learning things about him. This man is truly for the community. He has a home just like my home, a beautiful home. This man has a road. This man has his share of life. But this man got a job. This man owned his own land. He put up hay, get out there, get on his tractors. He get the eggs out of his coop. This man got chickens, horses, and everything else. This man makes his own way. But you know what got me about Pastor Miller? You know what got me? He like me. He don't care nothing about no title. That's what I like about Pastor Max Miller. And he moved back into the hood where his church at so he can speak for his people in his community. Now, that's what you call a leader, folks. That's what you call a leader. A leader who will never leave the hood, but stay in the hood and help his people. I don't live in the hood, but I'm always in the hood, almost 24 hours, 7 days a week, because I'm seeing about the people, because I am an activist in the community. I believe that if the preachers stand up, we ain't got to worry about the food bank taking care of the people when the churches ought to be feeding the people. I know I'm getting in deep water now. I'm talking about the secrets in the church. What you don't know is the responsibility of the church is for the lacking. If they don't have food, the church supposed to give out food. If they need to get to the doctor, the church supposed to get there. If they can't pay their rent and electric and their water bill and children, father is not there, the mother is a widow. Notice the word widow. I ain't say out here and got baby daddies there where I said widow. The Bible say call for the elders of the church so they can go see about the widow women. The church has a responsibility to see about the members, the church, and the deacons has an obligation. No, not these new churches, these new independent churches. They get rid of the deacons. The deacons is to keep the church balanced. They tell the pastor, this is where the stopping point is. You know, the pastor getting rid of the deacons now because they don't want to be held accountable. See, when you got deacons, boy, back in the day, the pastor got out of line when I was coming up. I remember distinctively one story, and he's gone now, but he apologized, and his name is a pastor. They call him Reverend Silas Douglas. Oh, Reverend Silas Douglas can preach you under the benches. If you know anything about Republican Baptist Church down there in Blanchard, Louisiana. I grew up Baptist by day and Colchic by night. We went to church, and then we had another church to go to that was on Jewel. I think it was Hill, some Spring Hill Baptist Church, something like that. Well, he got up in the church and said, my member love me so much, they'll follow me to hell. The deacons turned around and looked at him, and they kept their mouth closed. They didn't get out of line talking crazy like a lot of y'all do in the church. You need to learn protocol. The deacons sat there. They raised the offering. When they got through, they called the meeting at the church. Right after the service, they called an emergency meeting at the church. And when they got to the church, they voted 0-10. The 10 won to sit him down and excommunicate him until further notice. And they set him down. See, this is what I'm talking about, folks. The church have removed the protocol of the church because now we want to use our formula. We want to use our formula. But God had already set the standard and the formula for the church. The deacon is supposed to be in the church, supposed to be there doing the job in the church. We don't want them deacons because them deacons gonna tell you, let me hear about you doing and see what we do for you. See, the deacon has a job. That's why I love the deacons in Eagle Eye Fellowship International Churches and the headquarters of Eagle Eye Fellowship Church. I love the deacons. Those deacons would approach me and say, we know you are the founder. We know you this and we know you that. But bishop, apostle, you wrong. And we don't agree with it. And we need this corrected and we need it corrected now. We need to sit and talk. And they will call me in the boardroom and I will go in that boardroom. And the Bible says in business, men be men. In business, there's a business side of the church. Deacons are a must. You find a church that don't want no deacons in there and want to set the deacons down and limit them, you better watch that leader. I'm going to say it one more time. If that leader is putting limits on the deacon, you better watch that preacher because he has an agenda to do what he wants and how he wants to do it. God did not make one man to be the fivefold. I'm going to say that again for you. God did not make one man to be the fivefold. He made many and he gave gifts to many of us. And all of these offices plays a part in the church. All of these offices plays a role in the church that keeps the church balanced. You want to know what's wrong with the church? It's off balance. I say it's off balance. It's off line. It's out of line. That's why it's over here. It's over there. It's over here. It's over there. It's out of alignment because we have changed the formula which God has for the church. We done changed. It is our own fault. Church should not be comfortable enough for you to come in and just sit there and do nothing. Church supposed to cause behavior to ring out. What is your behavior when you go to church? And if your leader is dead, you dead. Some of y'all sitting up under these leaders, you know they molesting and raping and robbing and maiming and kleptomaniac. And the worst part about all of this is that some of these, almost 87%, 88% of these preachers that are pastoring these churches are pastoring in the place of their parents. God ain't been more called them to preach, and it showed ain't gave the mantle. Where is the mantle? Are y'all hearing me? Where is the mantle? Nobody knows where the mantle is. But y'all letting them pastor the church because their father was the pastor. This is a family business, and your church needs to be looked into for tax purpose. You need to pay all them back taxes then. It ain't your church. It belongs to the people. And now they smart enough to try to run out all the old folks out of there and stop them from coming to church so they can make a change and a difference. I want to say to the young man down there that's pastoring 8th Street, I got your name, I got your information on me, and but I'm gonna back up off of you because I don't know if you saw this video and someone told me you did, and you now trying to put that church back like it was. And when I really reviewed your service, I noticed you put that picture down at that pulpit and put it over there by that organ, put that organ back and got them drums back down like they're supposed to be, and got them chairs back in that pulpit and them chairs back in that choir stand. I commend you for hearing. I grew up in that church. I grew up in Johnson Holy Temple. I didn't go review him yet, but I'm going sometime this week to review. And if he ain't made no change, I'm going to expose him beyond measurement. Because you don't walk into a church and change the church to what you want to look like. The Bible said, remove not the old ancient landmark. This ain't no event center. This is a church. Then you want to take the chairs and fold them up and put them to the side and then bring banquet tables in there and sit down and eat. No. The church is a holy, it's a sanctified, it's a sancted area. You don't bring that kind of stuff inside there. You build you a fellowship hall. And if you don't have a fellowship hall, go get you some tents and put up outside the church in the beautiful yard. Keep the grass cut and put them out there and put some tables up out there and get you some coolers and let them bring the table to set up and put some food on the tables and let the people eat from there. You don't change the sanctuary to an event center. You don't do that. This comes from the pastor's children taking over the church, doing stuff they have no business doing. That's where this comes from. Grew up in the church beside your daddy and your mama in the church, and you still going straight with the church? My. How do you You remind me of the man sitting by the pool of Siloam. How do you sit by the pool of Siloam? How do you sit there and still can't get in the pool? Jesus came and he spoke with him. He said, why are you sitting here? And he said, I'm sitting here waiting on the water to trouble so I can get my healing. And Jesus said, the water has been troubled on many occasions. Why haven't you got in it? Every time I tried to get in the pool, somebody beat me. You sit on the side of the pool and you still can't get there, and ain't nobody there. You still can't even roll over in the water. You just lazy. And I'm saying to most of you PK kids who have took over your father's church, don't you become like the man at the pool of Siloam, lazy and sorry and want to have it your way. This ain't no Burger King. How would you like for God to treat you and your children and your wife the way you treat his house? I know that's a heavy response, but you better hear me tonight. How would you like for him to treat you like you treat his house? Let you go to work every day and every week change your check up. Instead of you supposed to be making $1,200 to $1,500 every 2 weeks or every week, make you make $100 here and $300 there, and you can't even quit your job, and you know they rob you. How would you like that? Now we're talking about a God that can do anything. He's not in the box, baby. He's not in the box. I assure you, he is not in the box. And I want to say to all of you bench members and lay members, I know that pastor is doing wrong. I know he's doing wrong. But they don't give you the right to stand up and try to pastor the church while the pastor is pastoring the church. There's a time and a place for you to go to your leader and talk to your leader and get an understanding with your leader. But you don't get to sit there and cause disturbance in the church. The Bible says, woe unto you that scatter my sheep. You know what that means? I'm going to get you. You don't get to chastise the leader in front of everybody. God going to get you. I'm telling you, you can't do it. You have to listen and you have to understand the process of it. Many of you just go to church. I'm starting to learn that you just go to church. You don't even understand the protocol. You don't understand the process of the church. Many of you are standing in pulpits. You don't even understand how the pulpit is built, what it even stands for, why you really don't have no business preaching on the floor, on the bottom floor. You have no business doing it. And I have to say this, me myself, because I found myself preaching at the bottom of the floor, right there by the people. It just feels good. But the pulpit is made for the church to pull you out of the pit. The pit that you're sitting in is your miry, sinful ways, your gloomy days, your sad moments, your pitiful, your lost self. You just lost. You have no way. Your sickness. When you come to the church and head toward that altar, you're heading for a slaughter. What is the slaughter? I'm going to slaughter this sickness off of you. I'm going to slaughter these demons off of you, these demonic spirits. I'm going to slaughter this backbite out of you. I'm going to slaughter this lying out of you. I'm going to slaughter this murdering spirit. I'm going to slaughter. That's what the pulpit for, is to cut the throat of that liar. Cut the throat of that backbite, that hoodoo spirit. Cut the throat of. That's what the pulpit for. That's why the preacher's supposed to always be in the pulpit. But guess what? He's supposed to wear his robes. Why? Because they don't need to see him. They need to see the robe. The robe is made for the blood, the splashing of the blood and all of the dirt and foul and whatever gonna come from cutting off of you. It's made for that. And then when he get through, he have to take the robe off and say, God, now here is the soul. Now remember, he had to take the robe off because he got to go before the holies of the holy, and he got to be clean with the soul in his hand and presented it unto Christ. That's why you're supposed to wear the robe. Some of y'all trying to save folks' souls, and your clothes dirty and your garments is dirty, and you going before God with a soul, and the soul's still dirty. And your garments you got on is dirty, and now you are being rejected, and you are rejected. You don't understand the process of the church. It's dangerous to play in the church. It's dangerous to not understand the church. It is dangerous, folks, to play with the sacrifices of God. It's dangerous, preachers. And you stand there, and we stand there, and y'all stand there, and you see this is happening to these sheep, and you won't open your mouth. You won't say nothing. You are just as guilty as the person who are doing it to them sheep. You stand there. All of you that give your money to these preachers that prophesied lies and game, you are just as guilty of that lying prophet who stand there and gave them money and said their prophecy. You just as guilty. So when God get him, he gonna get you too. When God get her, he gonna get you too. The Bible say, bear no witness to false. Don't bear no false witness. Don't bear that mess. Sit still. Say nothing. Get away from there and pray. And then tell the people. Warn them. This is wrong. This is not right. This is not right. No, this is not right. Dumb dogs that won't bark. I've had several preachers that show up to preach with me, and I invite them in, and they messed up. And when they messed up, I stopped it right in their track, cut the mic off, told them sit down. Because you know why? These sheep's blood is going to be on my hand. And I want to say to all of you, whether you're in the pulpit, the organ, in the choir stand, the deacon, the preacher, the usher board, I don't care who you are, that blood is on your hand in that sanctuary. And it's got to be crazy. You got to be ludicrous to go pastor a church and you wasn't called nor chosen, because all of them folk blood going to be on your hand, and you got hard enough time just to get yourself up when the trumpet sound. You going to go add this to you? Yeah, I know something wrong with you. The Bible said the love of money is the root of all evil. You're evil. You're evil. You're evil. You are evil. You do stuff like this, you are evil. And you sat in the church, and you're evil in God's house. You are on the level of Satan. You are on the level of Satan. Satan knows he would never get a chance to get back in. But you know what? We do. But the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. Can't you hear him knocking on your door? He's knocking on your door right now through the voice of me, letting you know you have a responsibility and an obligation to uphold the word of God. I don't care who it is, what they are doing, and what they are saying. If it's wrong, cry loud. Spare not. Don't be like the dumb dogs in the book of Isaiah. We read the scripture in the beginning. Dumb dogs that won't bark. Won't say nothing. Just let anything happen. Well, people, that's my time. I got to go. I've got to go. I'm going off the television here now. I'm getting ready to go off. But y'all remember what I told you. Y'all be blessed. Stay blessed. And I love you to life. Love you to life.
Apostle Lamarck J. Thomas of EFI Networks. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this segment and join us again. For more information, please call at 832-488-0375, or you can email us at eefinetworks@gmail.com. You can write to us at P.O. Box 2263, Alief, Texas 77411. All copyrights belongs to EFI Networks. Until next time, take care of yourself.